Good afternoon guys, my name is Jamie Matthews and in this video I'm going to be sharing with you how me and my business partner Abhishek purchased our first property. So we purchased our first property back in October 2021. We purchased it up in the northwest, a small town called Barrow-in-Furness. I've spoke about this place on my previous videos. I'm a big advocate of investing in the northwest and the northeast. Still to this day, they are the best and cheapest entry to market for people who are either inexperienced or wanting to just get their foot in the game. Now, we purchased our first property for £53,000. We then went on to do a refurbishment of approximately, it was 27,000 and an end GDV or an end valuation of £115,000. Now, that may not sound like huge numbers in comparison to the south. However, when you're not in the property game and you're just starting out, these are amazing numbers there. That's a very high return on investment. This was a standard 2-bedroom terraced house, buy to let. We just rent it out now at £750 a month. We only make about £300 profit on this property as we have it on an interest-only mortgage at the moment. So we purchased the property using what's called Bridgingfinance. Bridgingfinance, for anyone who doesn't know, there's a lot of intricacies obviously, but I'm going to try and make this as simple as possible. It is a company that is giving you a loan, a lender, and it is usually for a very short period of time to purchase the property. Or you can get a development loan or development finance from a bridging company who will then fund the cost of the refurbishment. But in our case, and in most cases, you are using bridging finance to acquire an asset. And usually it is not in every case, it is usually an asset that is either unmortgageable because the property is uninhabitable, or you need to purchase in a much quicker, shorter time frame that you would not be able to do if you were to purchase with a mortgage. As mortgages, as a lot of people know, they can take a long period of time. There is a lot more checks involved, whereas bridging finance, there's the essence of speed involved. You can exchange and complete in a property in a much quicker time. Obviously, case by case, however, the general rule of thumb is bridging finance is quicker. Now, just because bridging finance is quicker, it is usually a hell of a lot more expensive. It can be anything between 10 or 11% all the way up to 20%, usually around that price, around 1% to 2% a month. However, I don't want that to deter anyone because bridging finance is, the purpose of bridging finance is to be only having it for a very short space of time. So let me explain how this works. You want to go purchase a property in a very quick time frame that you may not have the cash to go and buy it all outright in cash. So what you do is you use your money to put a 25% deposit on the property. That the bridging finance company will loan you the remainder, the 75%. This is obviously me not including any fees here and there, but this is just the general gist. So they will loan you the 75%, you will put the 25% deposit, you will acquire the asset, you'll exchange, you'll then complete. You then have usually 12 months to pay this bridging finance back. You obviously want to get this done as soon as you can. So what you then do is you get the refurbishment done, you get the uplift in value because you've hopefully found a property that needs work. Now, not everyone does that. If it's a turnkey, I would advise not purchasing it with bridging finance. Bridging finance is fine for a turnkey if you're buying it drastically below market value. However, you don't want to be leaving any money in the deal when you're using bridging finance because they take what's called a first charge against the property. Need to make sure that the bridging finance is paid off as soon as you can. So you'll purchase the property with your deposit, the bridging finance will pay the remainder. Now you'll get the refurbishment done. Now there's two options for the refurbishment. You can either pay it for yourself, however you deem fit, or you can use what's called development finance. Development finance is essentially money being lent to you for the cost of the works of the property, of the refurb, to get it up to wherever you've assessed the property to be. Let's assume that you've only used bridging finance to purchase the property. You have 25% deposit, which has come from yourself, 75% which has come from the bridging finance. What you do is you complete all the refurbishment works out of your own money because that's what you've budgeted for in this case. You then refinance the project. So what I mean by refinance It essentially means you remortgage the property. You own the property under the bridging finance, you refinance it to release all of the equity. You've now added value to the property where it's now worth, in my scenario, it was worth £115,000. You then refinance that property at the new valuation. You then release all of the money. How this works is when you get a mortgage on a property, you will release, because it's a buy to let, you need to hold at least 25% equity within this property. Now, this is lender specific. There are obviously lenders that have different criteria. However, that's just a general rule of thumb. You will own 25% of the property. The mortgage will cover 75%. So you get the new mortgage on the new existing valuation after you've done the works. That money will then pay off your bridging finance. You will now just own a property which is worth £115,000, renting out for X amount, in my case 750, and you'll be paying a whatever percent interest. At the moment, I think mine's on like 4.3%. But what I do want to stress is if you're going to use bridging finance, you need to be very careful. I would always advise, if you're going to use bridging finance for the very first time, do it on a standard buy-to-let. Try not to go crazy with a HMO. All personal preference. I purchase HMOs. However, as your first one, I would always suggest to start off small or smaller just to get the taste of maybe one, then go as crazy as you want once you understand how the process works and how expensive bridging can be. And you need to make sure that you get this power team in place. Then when you do use bridging, you essentially want to be in and out of the product, being the property and the bridging finance, as soon as possible. Now, you can't do this without being able to learn how to find the correct deal. To be able to find the correct deal, that's where I would advise you start scouring the internet on how to find the correct property deal. Before you even think about going down bridging finance, you want to make sure that you already go and get yourself educated on how to find what's considered a good deal. Now, this may not be pertinent to some of you because you have a lot of money and you want to just pay a deal packager or a sourcer to go find you one. That's perfectly fine. However, I would still always encourage anyone to go and get educated first, so then you can actually analyse the deal yourself and you know what is considered a good deal or a return on capital employed or ROI, return on investment. You need to basically know whether this is a good deal or not and you're not being had off. So do that before you go anywhere near bridging finance, and bridging finance should only be used as a tool within your arsenal to leverage your money further in a quicker space of time, opposed to just purchasing everything with cash or attempting to do it with a mortgage, which you may not be able to do if a property is really run down or in certain states. So thank you guys. I hope you all enjoyed the video. I'm going to be uploading more on my Instagram of my ups and downs on where I am in my current company, and I hope to see you all in the next video. Peace, guys.